negative again. No, I don't. Are you feeling negative again? No. Yes, let me remind you that we all feel a little negative at times, and when we are struggling, we are feeling a little bit more negative, a little more often, a little longer, because we ruminate, and because we are feeling more stressed or distressed or under the weather, any way you want to put it. So we tend to find it harder to shift, to let go of those unhelpful thoughts and shift into a more balanced thought, more balanced and rational. So you probably will notice that there's a very strong possibility that you are being judgmental of yourself. Are you? Perhaps critical of yourself. Are you? Putting yourself down. And do you see yourself as not coping? Not coping. Not now, not ever. Do you? No. Well, at times we might see ourselves as not coping, but when we feel that we're not coping now, tomorrow, in the future, forever, this is a very unhelpful thought. It's extreme. It is unhelpful. It makes us feel powerless and hopeless. And it really is extreme. But don't beat yourself up, because that's what our brains do. The magical. Sometimes our brains help us into helpful directions, supportive, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you just have a mind of your own up here. But we want to recognize when we are being a little extreme in our thinking, because our thinking affects the way we feel. And we can feel amazing and happy and excited, or terrible and miserable and depressed and anxious. So it's very complex. The way we think affects the way we feel, and the way we feel affects the way we act and behave. So when we feel good, we behave in a certain way. When we feel anxious, we tend to avoid things. And when we feel depressed, we tend to reduce, stop, avoid all of those things. And when we're feeling angry, we tend to engage in behaviors that are likely to be destructive and causing more problems. Now, mid and long term, we might think it's helping us, but actually it's not helpful. Oh. And now, are you being judgmental of yourself and critical of yourself? Are you? Admit it. You might not see it, but you are, aren't you? You are in this moment. Maybe you're being judgmental and real. Me? How dare you? Shush. Anyway, when we are struggling and more distressed, there's a possibility that we might be acting in a way that is biased against ourselves. Not with, but against ourselves. Against. We judge and we criticize and put ourselves down. Enough? Yes, we judge and criticize and put ourselves down and see ourselves as not coping. We're not going to cope now. We're not going to cope tomorrow. We didn't cope in the past, and we're not going to cope in the future. Exciting future. Yes. And then, do we see ourselves as having achievements? Do we notice our achievements? No, we don't notice our achievements. They don't exist. Or if they exist, yeah, there is nothing, take it for granted, or we don't see it, or not a big deal, because in comparison with things we have not done, it's nothing. There's just nothing. There's nothing, not meaningless. So we see no achievements. Our achievements doesn't give it any satisfaction. No, nothing at all we can see, because we fail focus on the things that we are failing. The things we haven't done, and not doing well. And we are consumed with this fear of failure and rejection. And we are making these predictions that we're not going to cope now, tomorrow, in the future. And that we are going to be crushed by failure, rejection, and terrible things happening to us. And not only things are going to stay bad, be bad, and get worse. And then, within the worst possibilities, the very worst one is going to happen to us. That's our prediction, because we predict from our mental state of not feeling good. We predict because we got a crystal ball that predicts at the very worst, not the okay, not the middle, not the possibility. The worst is going to happen to us, and we're not going to cope. And then we see, do we notice, do we recognize our strength and capabilities and abilities? What is that? No, we don't. No, we have no abilities. We have no capabilities. We have nothing. We have nothing. Insignificant. At the mercy of the elements. Terrible. It's so difficult. So that's the state that we see ourselves as not coping now and ever, and worse happening. What about the things that are happening right now? Where do we focus? What do we see? Things that we've done, things that are happening. What do we see? We see the worst. Do we see the best? No. Do you see the good things? No. As given situation, pick any of them. Do we see the things that are going well? Do you see the things that are good? Do we see the silver light? No, none of that. Everything is tinted and dark and half empty, and we only focus on the very dark negative of the situation, of ourselves, of others. The worst, the most terrible thing, because we are experts in filtering out everything that is neutral, everything that is good. We only focus on the bad, the terrible, the catastrophe. Is it you? Admit it. Guilty. And then we see the future. What about the future? Already said the future's gonna be the worst. And then we see ourselves as not coping. What about our rules? Do you have any rules? Do you have any rules? Tell me, child. Tell me, my child. What? What is your rules? Do you have rules of must? I must. They must. You must. She must. Or the rule of ought. I ought to do this. You ought to behave like this. She ought to never do that. It's a must. I don't ought. Oh, I need to do this right now. She needs to do this. You need to do this right now. Must, oughts, needs strict personal rules and beliefs and views of the world, about ourselves, the way we behave, the way we think, the way we conduct ourselves, and others. You must never do this. There's no flexibility, it's only rigidity. Because we are rigid. Huh? We are strong. So you see everything with a rigidity. Our rules are rigid and strict, and our standards are Not yet. No way we're not go. I'm aiming for low, we're aiming for high. And we must achieve a high at all times. And others must comply with our highs of our musts and wants and needs. You must, at all times, always and never. You always, you never, always and never. Extreme. Do you say always and never? I hate everything. Hate is either lovable or hateful. There's nothing in between. Do you recognize any of these? No. We all have these kind of thoughts from time to time. Guilty. Okay. And usually they come, we feel terrible, and then they go because we get engaged on things and distract our minds, or maybe focus our mind in that direction of something more balanced. But when we are feeling distressed, when we have more stress, when we are under the weather, when we are feeling more terrible, these things are mind. When we don't sleep, when we're more isolated and lonely, when we are not, things are not going the way we want to, then we tend to have more of this kind of thoughts, We have more of this kind of thought, and then what we do with well, we're not even conscious. We don't even know. We distract ourselves with the back of the mind with dwelling. We distract ourselves in the back of the mind with dwelling, and then we are consumed by negativity and extreme distress, and it feels so horrible and intense. And then the worst, we might engage in addictive behaviors as a way of soothing, numbing, distracting, causing even more problems. Don't! No! Don't go down that road. Don't go down that road. Ever. Never. It doesn't go anywhere good. We distract ourselves, distract. We try to analyze. Why did I do? But then it's too many thoughts, too many. So it's just bring some balance and remind ourselves. May I have the courage to change the things that I can change, that are within my control. May I be serene to accept the things that I cannot control. And may I be wise to know the difference. Instead of working against myself and being biased against myself, may I notice some of my strengths, capabilities, abilities, and achievements. May I notice that balanced middle road. May you notice your capabilities, strengths, and abilities, and the things you are doing well. Find the middle path. Instead of seeing myself as not coping, may I see myself as coping the best way that I can in this moment, with the possibility for more, and that being enough for now, and finding ways to learn and find different strategies of asking for help. And when I look at a situation, myself or person, instead of just looking automatically for the negatives, the faults, the terrible things, I also keep a balanced view and also notice the things that are neutral, the things that are good, the things that are positive. So I can look at a person's self or circumstance in a more balanced way. Look at the opportunities, the good things, what's going well, what's working. And when I think about the future, and I think that the worst is going to happen, and the worst possible scenario is going to happen, may I find solutions if needed, but also may I give myself the possibility that, yes, some things might go bad, but some things will also be okay. Some things will be neutral and some things will be good. Like any circumstance in the past and present, it's always a mixed bag. And whatever happens, may I see it that I'll be able to learn and cope the same way they have learned and coped in the past and present. There may be there is a possibility for bad, but there's also a possibility for neutral and good. And when I look at the strict rules, I must do this, I ought to do this, I should do this, I give myself the flexibility of choice. I choose to do this, or I choose not to do this. May I be adaptable, flexible. And when I see myself as not coping, let me remind myself of the times that I've coped and what I've used and did as a way of coping. Perhaps spending a little time in nature, looking after myself a bit more by eating healthy foods and staying hydrated throughout the day. Organising my day in a way that reduces stress. Having activities that helps me feel more relaxed and calm, more positive and optimistic. Spending time outdoors, connecting with others, taking deep breaths. Smiling and laughing. Holding on to hope. Doing the best that I can. Asking for help if I need. And just leaving the rest in the hands of the universe. Or God, or anything that I see it as a higher power. And trusting that whatever is meant to be, I'll be able to cope. And I'll be okay either way. And recognizing that thoughts and feelings, they come and go, like the weather. Sometimes you've got a storm and you have to weather the storm. In what way can I support myself in this moment of negativity? Then as soon as I can, just get some rest and sleep. Because the body will naturally regulate itself through sleep. And then, how can I become more grounded and present in a moment? Instead of staying stuck in the past, on the regrets, on the resentments, or worrying about the future. How can I become present? Because the past is now gone. It's history, can't change it. We can only take the lessons and the memories and the goodness The future has not happened yet. There's endless possibilities and ways that things can go. It's not just one outcome. It's endless of outcomes. Things can turn up and go in so many different ways. We might predict different things, but we never know with certainty what the outcome is going to be. So it's just a mystery. It's a possibility and a mystery at the same time. It can go in one way, can go another, can go in different ways altogether. And the only thing we are left of is with the present. And the present is a gift for us. And it's what we have available is if in this moment. That's the only thing we have granted and available. The next moment we might just be gone. And no one has control over that if we allow natural life to take its course. So we only have influence over the current moment. Let's bring ourselves more into the current moment by grounding ourselves. Perhaps notice the flowers and the trees and the sky and the pets and nature and things that is happening in this moment in time. And if that doesn't feel good, how can we support ourselves through the discomfort, tolerating and accepting the moment as it is at this moment, and then finding a way of improving the moment? Just notice. It is what it is in this moment. Making peace with this moment. How can I improve this next moment? Take a slow, deep breath. And slowly out. Close one nostril and exhale. Close the opposite nostril and exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. What can I do to comfort this suit? Just remember that thoughts come and go, feelings come and go. Just a moment of imbalance might be bigger and heavier. Like sometimes you get a bigger and heavier and darker cloud. Sometimes we need to rain. It does rain and we need to cry. Sometimes that just carries in a direction, momentum with its clashes, but then we find ways to learn to do things differently. In what ways can I return to calm and balance? Things that I can do that is within my control. I know we always want things external to us to happen. No conflict, or getting the things we want, or having things in a way, in our preferred ways, or having what we don't have just yet, or having specific people. But when all of those is not available in the moment, we can just go with, yes, I think that would make me happy or help me in this moment. But since that is not possible, what else can I do that is within my control? Can I remove myself from the situation into safety? Can I have a hot cup of tea and I just take little sips of way of calming down? Can I take a shower and relax my body? Can I take a glass of water and hydrate, or eat a nourishing meal? Can I sleep? Can I go to bed earlier and have sufficient sleep so I can support my body and my body will support me? Can I go for a little walk to release some tension outside? Notice others, say hello to others so I don't feel so isolated. So I'm more connected with the world and others. Can I spend a little moment just accepting myself, my light and my darkness, making peace, accepting the way I feel, the way I look, the way I am, the way I behave, just making peace and accepting. Sometimes I get it right, sometimes I get it wrong. Sometimes I emit light, sometimes darkness, but it's all me, it's all part of me. And I embrace the good with the bad, the light and the darkness. I make peace and accept my thoughts and feelings in this moment. I know the feelings and thoughts come and go. And if I feel isolated and lonely, I remind myself that there are moments that I am with other people, and there are other people in my life. And if there was opportunities in the past to have people in my life, I will also have opportunities in the future. And if there were good moments, I will also have opportunities in good moments. It's just not happening in this moment. But in time, it will happen again. Just remind ourselves. What if I'm feeling like a failure? Just remind ourselves that I choose to remind myself that just because I felt that something or something is not working does not mean that I'm a failure. There are things that I do and have done that have worked out, that succeeded. And if in one specific area is not working at the moment or yet, it just means there is more to learn. There are other ways of trying and doing. Trusting that in time I'll have the solutions. The ability, the confidence, the trust to try and do things differently. And also remind myself that every circumstance may have its negatives but also has its neutral and positives. Am I taking all the responsibility and blame for everything and everyone? Just remind myself that I may be responsible in part and contribute in part, but I am not, and no one is ever fully responsible for something. Often it's a mix of ourselves and others that are involved, and circumstances. It's a mix. So taking the full blame and the full responsibility is often not the most balanced. I take responsibility for the parts that I have contributed. And also remind myself that I'm a human being. And human beings get it right and wrong and are not perfect. But I can choose to learn, notice what's working and celebrating. learn from my mistakes and things that are not working, and try and do things differently. I can choose to see this moment as just a moment of imbalance, just a moment of heaviness that will pass. These too shall pass. I don't have to like this feeling, but I can tolerate it, and I will survive it. I'll be okay. I have survived hard things in the past. I am more resilient than I give myself credit. I'm just gonna choose to go for a little walk and let off some steam and focus on something in the present moment. Something that I can see. Something that I can smell. Something that I can hear. Something that I can feel. Something that I can touch. Breathe in. Breathe out. I have the courage and strength. Breathe in. Breathe out. This is just a moment. Sometimes our minds go into very strong focus, and the feelings get intense, but those feelings can dissipate tiny little bit at a time into relief. Breathe in. Breathe out. Into compassion for our struggles and suffering. I choose to have compassion for myself, my struggles, my suffering. Breathe in. Breathe out. I choose to love myself even though I might have these feelings and not see myself in a positive light. Breathe in. Breathe out. I choose to support myself. Breathe in. Breathe out. I choose to see my light. Breathe in. Breathe out. I choose to connect with the resilient part of me that takes things in stride. Breathe in. Breathe out. Whatever happens, whatever things may turn, I'll be okay. Breathe in. Breathe out. And if my mind thinks, what if I'm not okay? Then I remind myself that there have been times in the past where things were not okay, and other people are in circumstances which are extreme, and somehow they find the resilience, the strength to cope to the best of their abilities. And that is within me. The seed of resilience is within me and all human beings. Breathe in. Breathe out. While my heart is beating, there's a world of possibility. And just because I don't see it, does not mean that it's not there. Just means that I need a little rest to widen my perspective, and in time, as I feel more rested, I will. To get some more knowledge and solutions, and if needed, ask for help. Breathe in. Breathe out. Hey. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Breathe. I hope you are feeling a little bit more optimistic, supportive of yourself, and light, and see and recognize that there are thoughts and moments that can be heavier, and it's just a thought in a moment. And if the mind is going down the road of extreme ways of thinking, then we can have a more extreme way of feeling. But we can bring some rationality and balance into our mind. And if you got too much momentum, don't worry. Just get some rest. Stay away from things that are potentially more destructive and unhelpful. Just take yourself to bed and sleep, or into nature. If it's bedtime, take yourself into bed. If it's daytime, perhaps take yourself into nature, or somewhere you feel safe, to allow the body to sort of calm down and get some more perspective. And if you've been isolating, find ways of connecting with others. If you don't feel ready for a one-to-one, face-to-face contact, go at least to a place where you will see other people. A park, the sea, somewhere we can see other human beings in a relaxed state, so you feel a bit more supported. And when you're ready, then you can make arrangements to see and socialize. See someone that you care, that is meaningful to you. So you go back into being more in contact with those that are important to you. From my heart, big hug. You'll be okay. Just a moment. Thoughts come and go, feelings come and go. It's just a moment. Like the weather, can have stormy days, dark days, and how it all changes. But the good sunshine also comes again. So, remind ourselves, I don't like this, and I can tolerate this. I don't like this, and I can survive this. The ultimate, we don't know. No one knows. If you let life and our heart beats, we don't know how long that will be. And that's just an uncertainty that we need to make peace with it from the day that we are born. And accepting that. But often we have more resilience than we give ourselves credit for. And while there's life in our hearts, then we'll continue finding solutions, finding reassurance, and tolerating, just embracing life. Because life is neither utopia nor misery. It's a mixed bag of good and bad, positives and negatives. And is doing the best we can to reduce the moments that are distressful or stressful, or trying to balance what life gives us with moments where we feel relaxed, with moments where we feel positive and optimistic and good, so we can balance it out. And when you need it, you just have to ride the wave, surf that wave, just crashes, just rises and crashes, just a feeling, just a thought. Feelings and thoughts come and go. This too shall pass. Just a moment, that's all. I'm gonna let go of the past, I'm gonna let go of the future, and for a moment, until I feel better. When I feel better, I can focus on the future and plan and take steps to ameliorate and solve some things. But right now, until I'm in the best frame of mind, I'm going to focus on the moment, in the present, just now. What can I do to solve and improve this next moment? Can I give myself a hug? Or bring my hands to my heart? Or even ask the universe, or God, or a highest entity, please help me. Universe, please help me. Please help me cope with this moment, with this feeling. Please help me feel that I'll be okay. Then focusing my mind on my breath, and notice the breathing rising and falling. And if my breath is too fast, my heart is beating too hard, just remind myself, am I feeling anxious? Am I in safety? Do I feel safe in this moment? And if I'm physically safe in this moment, and if my heart is beating fast, then it's likely that I'm feeling anxious. Just reassure myself and my body, it's okay, I am safe. And give myself the time that the heart and the body has to self-regulate, to go back to its natural, balanced state, and allow my feelings to catch up. I can do this. I can tolerate this and cope with this and be okay. Peace, may peace be with me. Breathe in. Breathe out. May I be illuminated by light. Breathe in. Breathe out. May I have self-compassion and love. Breathe in. Breathe out. I will be okay. Just a moment. Now I can do this. Breathe in. Breathe out. And then just remember, we don't need to solve everything at once and in this red minute. Sometimes we want to because we want to stop feeling these feelings, but okay, yes, I would have preferred to have an answer and solve this once and for all, so it's out of my back, out of my sight. But then if it's not realistic, is this realistic? Is this a realistic expectation? Just go, okay, my preferred option is that is solved now. It's not happening, so I'll go with what is reasonable and realistic. Might have to wait, might be a little while before it gets solved, and then bit by bit I can work towards finding solutions. But right now I'm just going to give myself a moment to rest, a moment to become grounded. And when I feel strong enough, then I take the next logical step. I mindfully stay focused on the present, and I take a step, an action that is purposeful, that is useful, that is helpful, into solving, into feeling better, solving a problem or feeling better, something that is helpful, now, mid and long term. You will be okay. You will.